Born in 1942 to a middle-class family, Shohua was the eldest son in a family of 10. As a child, Shohua had always possessed a certain fascination for building things. His father, a senior engineer, would share his blueprints with Shohua every night after work. He, at 9 years old, would even rush to the bustling markets after school to scavenge for leftover machine parts from World War II, building his own radio receivers. In 1958, an opportunity arrived for him to showcase his talent. Yucai High School, a teeming private high school in Shanghai, held its first radio remote-controlled model airplane competition. With 12 of the brightest teams participating all across China, the pressure for Shohua and his team was increasingly stringent. Summer of 1958. Watching as the airplane circled the sky for the 50th time, Shohua and his teammates prayed that this time it would not come crashing down. The airplane, sleek in the sky, looked quite graceful for a moment as it flew across the school's expansive campus, nose in the air. The longer the plane was in the air, the more the team held their breath in anticipation. A few moments passed. It was still flying. A few more moments passed. Shohua felt the goosebumps on his skin awaken. He looked at his teammates in horror. Wind. His attention returned to their plane just fast enough to see its nose tip downward as its wings struggled for air. The plane's balance wavered, and in one big swooping motion, dove into the bushes in the distance. Ugh! Shohua agonizingly screamed. Head in hands, Shohua, breathing heavily, silently tucked his frustration away once again, standing up to face his fellow teammates who were looking at him understandingly. "We will get this," Shohua asserted before running to retrieve the airplane once again. This same reaction of frustration occurred several more times before the finished remote-controlled airplane was ready for competition. The team had persevered until winter rolled around. On December 24th, buried under layers of thick coats and sweaters, everyone stood in anticipation as the teams arrived at the deserted airfield. The skies above them rolled rapidly, a gray overcast looming over the heads of the participants. With each step, puddled water splattered onto Shohua's legs as he winced from the sound of yet another team's airplane crashing onto the asphalt. That could be us, he thought. Before long, it was his team's turn to test their airplane. Gripping the radio remote control so tight his knuckles turned white, Shohua launched the plane, steering it higher and higher. As the plane's altitude continued to climb, his breath quickened, exhaling small clouds of wispy winter breath. As their team looked on, half anticipating their plane's nose to dip and be thrown to the ground, a glimmer of hope kept them going. To their amazement, their plane did not dip, but continued to soar through the rough winter weather. Yes! Yes! Shohua jumped in elation as the crowd burst into applause. On December 24th, 1958, which happens to be the day before Christmas, my grandfather and his team won the first radio remote-controlled model airplane competition in a time where there were no semiconductors, transistors, or prevalent internet, using bulky vacuum tubes and electrical circuits. Those huge parts of their success came undoubtedly from their diligence and unrelenting drive. We also must not overlook the seemingly arbitrary factors that paved the way for their success. Their school, Yucai High School, one of the top private high schools in Shanghai, heavily sponsored the team's ambitious endeavors, funding their tools and workspaces for the project. They even went as far as to hire buses for the team to drive them to and from the airport to test the airplane. As Shohwa remembers, our team received a heroic celebration when we returned to school. We were all very happy and excited on that day. Without the imperative support from those around them, and the rare opportunity that the resources Shohwa's father and the school provided, his passion for radios and electronics would have never been cultivated, and he would have stayed the same curious boy rummaging for spare parts in the bustling market.